Live and direct with Fusion Radio with Brian Stinson and YTS Keys, man. You know, the guests keep coming. We're excited about having them. And what I love about it is Keith shared this off the air, man. It's the diversity. I know the perception is that, damn, y'all only have artists on this damn show. But got you to believe we do have other people on here that do other things. And I love this one because, man, he's not only an author, but he's also a fitness trainer. So we got two things we can get into. It shows our diversity.
Yes, sir.
His name is Ken Woods, man. Welcome to Fusion Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, man, let's get into the author side, man. What inspired you to want to become an author?
Well, this particular book, I've worked in corporate America for more than a decade, and I've seen some of the things that go on. And I wanted to, and I was naive when I first started. So over the years, I noticed different patterns, different behaviors, and I really could have benefited from a mentor when I first started. So that's why I set out to write the book, is for the book to be that mentor for all the black professionals coming behind me. And it's better than a mentor because mentors leave, mentors get promoted, mentors go to different companies. But this one, you can carry around in your backpack, wherever you're at, you can carry it, take it to different jobs. So that's what I set out for the book, to be that mentor that you can always have with you, no matter where you at or what job you're working at.
Okay, so like, what was going on in that point of time, though, when you really made that decision? Like, okay, I want to take my knowledge, but I want to put it in a book. So, like, what was really going on in your life at that time that really made you make that decision, though?
The frustration, like I said, more than a decade of dealing with certain behaviors, certain obstacles being put before you. And just the frustration had built over. And I was like, I'm sick of this. I wish there was something that could have prepared me for this before, all this frustration happened. I wish it was something that I could have looked to and been more prepared and been like, I wouldn't have been as frustrated. I'd have been able to flow. I'd have been able to see certain things, be prepared for certain things, and then have maneuvers to maneuver around it, have strategies to work around it. So I was like, why not me? Then I had to examine my behavior and see some of the things that I was doing that may have led to some of the negative outcomes. So once I was able to examine both sides, the behavior I was facing from others, and then examine some of the negative behavior I was displaying, then I could come up with strategies to get out of my own way first and then navigate around what other people are trying to do.
Okay, so like, with you being an author, though, I don't really know. So like, explain that whole process, though, as far as like the whole process is actually putting your thoughts into words, though, because now you got it up here, but now you have to transition that into on paper or typing that out and really trying to voice your opinions and really trying to get your point off in the best way possible that you know how to. So like, what was that process like, really actually sitting down writing your book, though?
Well, I went to school for journalism, so I was adept at writing and getting my thoughts on paper. But this specifically is different because you have to discipline yourself. So I set out first, obviously, to make an outline, and then every day I just filled in the things that I thought were pertinent, and then once you do that, you go back, you edit, and then you fill in more things. So first is the outline. You have to have the outline. You have to organize it, and then and actually it's just thinking about all the experiences you had, what stands out. So that's how you form the outline. What stands out? What are some things you didn't know? What are some things that you did know? What is some naive thoughts you had that turned out to be that didn't turn out to be true? And then once you have that, you formulate an outline, and then after that, you just break it down. It's like, I call it the Forrest Gump approach. You do one thing, you focus on one thing at a time, you nail that down, and before you know it, you've accomplished great things. Like Forrest Gump, when he started to play ping pong, the guy in the Army said, keep your eye on the ball. And that's all Forrest focused on doing for a very long time. One thing led to another. Then, Forrest is competing in international ping pong competitions. You see what I'm saying? When he set out to run across America, he just kept putting one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. He didn't let nothing distract him from the outside. Crowds had formed around him, but he continued to just do one simple thing every single day. So that's what I did. I did one thing every day. I wrote one thing every day. I didn't focus on the long-term goal. I knew what it was, but I just focused on one simple thing every day, getting words on the page every single day. And before I know it, you had a 168 page book. You know what I mean? So that was my approach. Make it simple, and then as you simplify it, chop it down. Before you know it, you got the whole product.
So I want to go back to a couple of different things. One is, what was the course of work that you were doing, just sort of to take us in? And then two is frustrations, like maybe what is one thing from a frustration standpoint when you were working for that company that you said to yourself, like, okay, why do I keep hitting this particular area?
Well, I was a copy editor, so that's just editing for students' work, like their coursework. So I was making sure it was correct for punctuation, grammar, spelling, things like that. And the frustration was not getting recognized for your work. That really got to me. What else? The little political games people would play, the manipulation tactics they would employ on you. And so those things, when they accumulated, it was like, okay, this is really boiling over, so I got to do something about this. So those were the things that when you work in an office and things like that, people are very insecure. So they're always on edge about their job, because in corporate America, there's no job security, there's no unions. So everybody is on edge, and especially in a corporation where there's layoffs. So people know that at the end of the day, I could be out of a job, and this person might be coming to take my job. So they do very underhanded things. They do very manipulative things, passive aggressive things. And I began to notice that, and I was like, this is not the environment. People need to be aware of this, because I had to learn on the fly. Nobody sat me down and told me. Like I said, no mentor. So I was like, I can be the mentor, but a mentor that you can carry with you.
So I want to build on that, and hearing the frustration and everything is like, how does one that's doing that position as a copywriter, how do you turn it into something maybe that's more independent for yourself, and make it where not only is it works for you, but possibly work for others?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the book is. I had a talent, I had a gift, so I wanted to pursue that. And copy editing is a part of writing. So, but also, so that's the thing I want to do, writing, and that's independent. Independently published, things like that. So that's what I pursued as far as getting some independence, getting some monetizing your talents outside of the workplace.
All right, so give us you said it's 168 pages, man. Give us something that you feel like that's eye-popping, that is going to, I guess we can use as a tease, that's going to give us some homework to make sure that we go get this book.
Treat your workplace like a court of law. Everything you say can and will be used against you. That's one thing I learned very early. So even if you're joking, people relay what you say to people in power in a different way. You might be joking. Everybody might laugh in your face. But when they go tell the manager, when they go tell senior level people, they say, he was so angry. He was furious. Now you're getting reprimanded for something that you thought was a joke. Everybody assumed it was a joke. But when they relay it, now you're getting in trouble. So all words are of the utmost importance in the workplace. So always be aware of the words you're saying. Always be aware of who you're saying it to. And always be aware of how your words can be interpreted or misinterpreted.
So just sitting here listening to you talk, though, like in some type of way, I could tell like your thinking process is like it's on a different like frequency. You feel me? How I like to say it, just based on some like you think differently than the normal person would think. On some like you think a couple steps ahead, like with what you got going on. So like with having that mindset though, like how can you necessarily, how can I say this? Like I wouldn't necessarily say control it, but how do you use that for your like your benefit in your everyday life? Because I, in some type of way, I feel like I'm not saying like, as far as like when I'm in certain situations, I like to think ahead of what's going on, or make sure I'm aware of my surroundings and what could happen, and what like you just said, like you might say something a certain type of way, but it might come off differently. Like thinking about those type of things. So like, how do you go about you doing that in your everyday life though?
Just being careful. A lot of times we are, we're loose and we're like free flowing and we think everything is okay. And we accept that when we watch sports, they have a game plan. We accept that when you play games, you have a game plan. But when it comes to dealing with people, we think we just supposed to free form. We're not supposed to have a game plan. So when you deal with people, you have to have a game plan too. You have to understand that people have different motivations. You have to understand that people are not always nice. They don't always have the best intentions for you. And once you have that mindset, once you understand that there's negative forces around you, you can kind of navigate that. And you can also be more adept at reading people once you realize that everybody doesn't have the best intentions for you. So that's how I kind of try to approach that. Just realizing that it's not all what you think, and everybody is not on the up and up. So once you realize that, you can filter out the people that are not on the up and up, and you can start to appreciate the people in your life that are.
Okay, so the title of the book is called A Black Man's Guide for Working in Corporate America. So with a title like that, you feel me, that kind of to put it like in, I wouldn't say like in a box, but like, you feel me, you kind of delegated that title mostly to black men. So like, let's talk about that though. So why didn't you go in the aspect as far as being, just broadening it out like a man's perspective, you feel me, as far as dealing with corporate America? Why did you specifically just want to focus on black men?
Well, I'm a black man, so, and I think it'd be presumptuous of me to speak for another demographic. Every demographic faces different challenges in the workplace. I can only speak to the ones that I face. And I know that based on my experience and a lot of other brothers' experience, we are the least represented in this space, so that makes us the most vulnerable. And we're the first ones to get put out the door. So we definitely need a guide and a game plan when it comes to that because of the lack of representation. So, and there's a lot of other demographics see us in certain ways that we may not be aware of. So we have to be cognizant of what they're seeing in us, how they're interpreting our actions. And because they have a cultural disconnect from us, a lot of times they haven't dealt with us personally, we have to be aware of what they're thinking and navigate around it. And then we have to be aware of how we're coming off, what we're saying, and then navigate that too. So I think it's because of the cultural disconnect that most of our coworkers have, it's important for us to understand certain dynamics in the workplace.
And see, that's why I love that we having this conversation, because it seems like when you talk to certain people, it don't seem like they're, like you said, cognitive of those certain things that you just spoke of. You feel me? Like understanding, like when you talk to a certain type of race, how certain things might come out just based off their upbringing and stuff like that, or their understanding. Like that's why I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like that's why you get the responses that you get when you talk to certain people. That's why people move the way they move, talk the way they talk, do the things that they do based off certain things like how they was raised, what gender they are, like, you feel me, race, things like the things of those type of, in that type of realm. That's why we are who we are as people, you feel me? So that's what makes us, that's what makes us great as people, and that's what kind of makes us kind of fall off sometimes too, though, just based off how we are and how we go about certain things.
Yep.
So I like how you put that. So I want to turn into the fitness part, though, you feel me? So the fitness part. So First off, I want to start off just like, how did the fitness part come in general, just like with you personally first?
Actually, that started as it was just something that I did. I was just in the gym and working out and figuring out the best techniques. And, people just come up to me and start asking me questions, or they say, man, you're getting big. What do you do? What do you eat? What is your routine? And I was like, I could try to monetize this. At first it was just something that I enjoyed. My dad had done it when I was a young kid. I always was in the gym, kids area, you know what I mean? So I grew up with that. And then as I started to go to the gym, people just saw the progress, and I was like, well, let me seek to monetize it. So that's how that came about.
What's one common thing that, as a fitness trainer, you find yourself working with someone with?
I would say the eating nutrition is most important. We can get in that. You can't outwork a bad diet. So you have to have your nutrition on point. That's where it starts. That's the foundation. And you have to develop habits when it comes to nutrition. So I think a lot of people miss that, is the habits you have to develop when it comes to nutrition. It's an everyday thing. It's regimented. It has to be scheduled. and you have to keep up with it. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is just mostly with men is just ego lifted. We want to push the most weight we can, but weight is really not important. The muscles don't know how much weight you got on the bar. They respond to a stimulus. You know what I mean? So if you can stimulate your muscles, and they're going to grow because of that. It's damaging the muscles. That's what makes it grow. So damaging the muscles, putting the stimulus on the muscles, and then that's what makes it grow. But in our minds, we think the weight is more important because we want to, you know what I mean? But stimulating the muscles is not about the weight. It's about putting stress on the muscle, and then it's going to grow.
So I hear you saying that, that's where I was actually getting ready to go, is the whole mind thing. Because we can share the knowledge and everything as far as helping a person and all that stuff. We can be the fitness trainer. But what are some things that you do to sort of press their buttons and get them to actually break through?
Just, I like to give them quotes, if they're complaining or they say something is hard, I say, you might not believe in yourself, but you should believe in me. I know you can do it. You know what I mean? Instilling confidence in people. A lot of people, when they go into the gym, they don't want to be judged. I got lightweight on the bar and things like that. But instilling confidence in people, when stuff gets hard and they just want to quit, hey, I'm here. I know it's hard. That's what it's supposed to take. This is what you're supposed to feel. You're welcome. I say things like that. Get them a little humor, but also the humor is designed to train your mind that, you can do it. It's not something that you can't do. Push your buttons. I like to use humor. Some people, I'm not, do it type of, I'm not the in-your-face drill sergeant type of trainer. No, we going to have a good time, but you're going to know that once you leave, first of all, you're going to feel it. Second of all, and the next day you're going to feel it. Second of all, but you're going to leave, you're going to want to come back because it was hard, but it was a good time. You were smiling and it was fun. So that's the type of approach I like to take.
Okay, so I want to ask you, because I know, of course, like you said, you're trying to monetize off what you do as far as being a fitness trainer, so I don't want you to go too much in detail, but just for examples, what would you necessarily tell somebody that's trying to gain weight, or what would you necessarily tell somebody that's trying to lose weight?
Gain weight is all about calories. So whatever your body weight is right now, multiply that by 16, and then add on 300 to 500 calories a day. So, and then if you're trying to cut weight, whatever your body weight is, multiply that by 10. That's the amount of calories you should have per day. That's going to keep you in a caloric deficit, and the first one is going to keep you in a caloric surplus. So gaining weight is figuring out your calories for maintenance, and then putting on more calories, and then cutting weight is figuring out your calories for maintenance, and then cutting that by 300 to 500 calories per day. And a lot of people think that you have to eat certain things, but caloric deficit is the way to lose weight. So it doesn't really matter what you eat. You obviously want to get enough protein, but if I eat, 2 scoops of mayonnaise and a cherry every day, I'm going to lose weight no matter what, you know what I mean? So it's you want to focus on getting enough protein and then just cutting your calories, but keeping that consistent. You can't cut your calories 3 days and then on the 4th day you just go crazy. So it has to be consistent over time. And also people have to understand it's going to take time, especially if you're just starting. Your body is not used to the changes that you make. Your body has to adjust. Your body has to say, okay, we're cutting calories now. We have to lose this weight in order to maintain this. So your body has to adjust to the new things you're putting it through, so it's going to take time. But as long as you remain consistent over time, you will lose weight. And if you want to gain weight, keep that caloric surplus over time, and you will do that.
Fusion Radio with Brian Stinson and YTS Keys, man. Our guest today, man, is the super dope author and fitness trainer, man, Ken Woods, man, enjoying this conversation. So, man, I want to delve into, because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the information that you're sharing. It's powerful and everything. Just build more on the fitness trainer conversation and give me a story of someone that you started with that you saw miraculous transformation. Maybe they wanted to lose a lot of weight, and just take us through that person.
I haven't had one yet that was a miraculous success story, but I have had people that have lost weight. I have had people that have gained a decent amount of muscle, but I haven't been at it that long. But people really, it's just about. I haven't had a miraculous story yet, but people have lost weight, and it's just they feel better, they feel more confident, and the clothes fit different. That's the one where they really like it. And as far as gaining muscle, they look in the mirror and they say, "Oh man, I'm glad you gave me those tips. I'm glad you showed me this. I'm getting bigger," things like that. But as far as like a story where somebody lost 45 pounds, I haven't had that yet. But that's why we continue to apply the trade. You know what I mean?
All right, so like people are hearing you and people are watching you right now, man, on live, man. How do they get in touch with you if they want to utilize your services as a fitness trainer?
Fitness trainer on Instagram, KEN_WOODS_. That's my fitness channel. And for the book, you can hit me on TikTok at A Black Man's Guide or YouTube, the same, at A Black Man's Guide.
And then just to recap, the book is about what?
Black men navigating corporate America. And it's available on Amazon right now. You can type my name or the title of the book. You can type Ken Woods. Those are the results that come up the quickest. Ken Woods in Amazon. It'll come up first. Or you can type the title, A Black Man's Guide. Or, it's available on YouTube. It's a link in my bio. And on TikTok, it's in my bio there.
Well, Ken Woods, man, definitely appreciate the conversation, man, about the book, man. And I believe that's going to definitely be a guide and a help to so many, man, in the African-American culture, man. And on the fitness trainer side, man, like definitely, man, health is wealth.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So continue success, brother, man, on all that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.